The best decision I ever made for myself at this moment of my life was going on my own path. I am my happiest at this moment going on my own path. Let me tell you why. We all have a path to go on. Your path might be different than mine, and my path might be different than yours. But at the end of the day, we all have a path to choose. It's all about making that decision. While you're on this path, it's the discovery part that's so important, right? For me, as a creative, as an artist, I've been in many situations where I wasn't really happy in my environment, like for instance, a job, right? I was in this space, I liked it, I learned what I needed to learn, but it was at a point where I stopped growing. And I needed to go on a journey, but I didn't know how to. So I actually got laid off from that job. And during the discovery of that moment, I wasn't in a happy space. I was actually feeling discouraged. Like, I wanted to leave this position, but not in that way. I wanted to leave in that position and just trickle into something else. But sometimes life doesn't work out the way we plan. And I think what I've learned through that path is discovering what I wanted, right? Who am I, right? What does it look like if I started investing in myself, right? So what I did was I focused on what I wanted my life to be, right? And some people don't have that opportunity to do what I did and discover myself in that sense. But through that discovery, I realized that I wanted so much more for myself, and the only way that I was going to do that is I really had to invest in me. So I took a break from the idea of going into interviews and applying myself in that space, and I really started thinking about myself as my own client, right? 2019 was the year I decided to not focus on any of those things, but focus on myself, right? Focus on OK Miss Lady. That's when I changed my name. And I focused on me being my own client. I was the art director, creative director. I did not have clients in 2019 because I was really focusing on myself. And I put all my energy in there, creating content for OK Miss Lady and actually getting in my first art show with other amazing artists. And that was a year where I really discovered myself. That was a path where I really honed into my style as an artist. I started drawing again. I realized that in order for me to have something that was mine, I had to really curate it, right? Create my style. And I discovered those things, right? I took a break from the corporate space and wanting notoriety and validation in those spaces, and I focused on myself. Now, granted, everyone's situation is not as easy as like, hey, I'll get laid off from my job. I have this band of space where I can focus just on myself. I get that, but I was just in a position where I was able to do that. But with that time, I was able to really discover myself, right? Who I want to be as an artist, who I want to be as a designer. And thanks to that path, here in 2020, I've discovered myself, right? I realized the clients that I want to work with, all right? I didn't know I had that option until I discovered that, but until I went on my own path and ventured off of the social norms, right? If we look on that scope of things too, society tells us so much about who we're supposed to be and the path we're supposed to go on. And not a lot of people have that moment to actually go on a soul search and discover who they are. It's not a lot of moments when you can do that. And I don't think it's encouraged enough either. So for anybody out there who is in a space or in a job that they don't like, right? And you want to quit. I am not going to say quit, right? Not at all. You do what makes you comfortable sometimes. But I definitely say if you're in a position that you don't want to be in, right? always look at the silver lining. What is it in this position that I can take with me, right? There's a silver lining here. You might not be in your ideal space, ideal role, but there's something that you can get out of this role to further yourself for what you really want to do. Maybe the 9 to 5 is your bread and butter, how you make your money. But your dream job can start after the 9 to 5, right? What are you doing in those hours, right? Or are you just focused on not being happy? And I get that because I was there. I totally understand that. But think about it in shifting your mindset and while you're on this path of discovery, right? You don't want to be in these spaces. Like, figure out an exit plan, right? Give yourself a goal. Set a goal for yourself. How long do you want to be here? And while you're here, what are you going to take from here that's going to add on to what you really want to do, right? So just from my advice and my experiences, if I could have changed my perception, or not even perception, but if I could have changed my way of thinking back then and to where I am now, I would have done that more. Being in the position that I didn't want to be in, but like thinking of what I can do in this position that can get me where I want to be, right? So everything might not be ideal, but while you're on this path and you're discovering who you are, if you are an artist, if you are a photographer, or any form of place in life, and it might not even be artistically, it's just going on your path and not looking on somebody else's path. And we do that a lot, especially in our society, where we gauge our success off of what somebody else is doing. I tell you this, most people who do that, they're not happy, right? We're always on this rat race where we're trying to compete against each other. You shouldn't be in competition with no one, right? At all. Because it's a joke. In my opinion, I feel like it's a joke, because you never get to the pinnacles you want, because you're always trying to excel better than somebody else. But I'm, to be honest, I'm my happiest on my own path, moving to the beat of my own drum and not trying to be where somebody else is. I have my moments. This is not easy at all. Discovery, going on this path, highs and lows, leaps. There's always something that happens in this discovery stage, but I can honestly say I am my happiest because I'm doing what makes me happy, right? I'm not looking for anyone else to say, well done, because I know that this is what I'm supposed to do, right? I've been in numerous of times where maybe an ideal role, the money sound right? It was great, but I turned down the role because I knew that what I wanted was so much more than that role. Maybe it might have been comfort to have the salary and make the money, but I knew there was something more that I wanted. And it's exactly what I'm doing right now. And each day I wake up, it's me making a conscious decision to go on my path, no matter what anybody else has to say. So if I can give you guys any advice, go on your path, discover who you are. Don't look at anyone else's path. What's yours is yours. So that's my advice to you.